This story begins with Gabriel Emerson, who is a feared, respected, and a bit cold person, whereas Julia Mitchell is a shy and brilliant student. Julia doesn't talk much, and she likes to keep to herself. She enrolls as a graduate student in a university, where she meets Gabriel again after so many years, but sadly he doesn't remember her. In the classroom, Julian is deep in her thoughts. That's why she doesn't hear Professor Gabriel calling her name. In the end, a student named Paul budges her slightly to get her attention. Finally, she looks up and notices that everyone in the classroom is looking at her. Gabriel scolds the girl for not paying attention in the class. After that, he asks the students to answer the question he asked earlier. At that moment, another girl answers his question, and it seems she is interested in Gabriel. After that, Gabriel continues the lecture, whereas Paul sees Julianne looking sad. Hence, he tries to lighten up her mood by passing a note in which he writes that the professor is a jerk. Julianne starts smiling after seeing the note. Meanwhile, Gabriel notices their exchange. Hence, he asks the girl why she is laughing. Julianne hurriedly hides the note in her book, whereas Paul takes the blame that he is the one who distracted her. However, Gabriel looks angry as he asks the girl to meet him in his office after the class. After a while, Paul and Julianne meet outside the class. Hence, the boy warns her about Gabriel and Krista. Julianne then goes to Gabriel's office, and before she enters, she hears him talking to someone on the call. He sounds distressed while talking on the phone. Julianne then sees him crying after ending the call. Hence, she doesn't want to disturb him, so she left a note in which she said sorry to him. At home, Julianne is looking at a picture of Gabriel, in which he is looking quite young. Suddenly, her phone rings, so she picks up the call, and her father gives her the sad news that her best friend's mother passed away. Surprisingly, Gabriel is Julianne's best friend's brother, and it appears that's the reason he was so upset today, since he wasn't at her mother's funeral. The next day in university, Julian is grabbing some papers from the shelf when a note falls from it. Seeing the note, the girl starts panicking. It appears that instead of leaving the apology note at Gabriel's office, she accidentally left Paul's note, where he makes fun of Gabriel. A lady near her informs that Gabriel has officially asked her to make an appointment with Julianne, and this meeting will be documented in her file, so it might damage her applications. The next day, Julian is going to Gabriel's office when Paul calls her and asks her if she wants to go for coffee with him. Hence, she accepts his offer and they exchange their numbers. After that, the girl enters the Wolf Den, aka Gabriel's office. As usual, Gabriel is in his grumpy mood, and it seems Julianne's luck isn't on her side as she drops her bag. Hence, she picks up her stuff. After that, Gabriel insults her for calling him a jerk and for not coming to his office yesterday. However, Julianne informs him that she came to his office but he was on the phone. Gabriel then gets angry at her for bringing up his family. He then tells her to change her department or even university, since things are not working between them. Julianne angrily goes away from his office and she starts crying. Later that day, Gabriel notices Julianne struggling in the heavy rain, so for once he makes a good decision by offering Julianne a ride to her home. The girl is hesitant at first, but then she sits in his car. The ride to her home is awkward as Gabriel notices Julianne's wet condition and he seems to be attracted to her, but he then quickly looks away. After a few minutes, they reach her home and a miracle happens. As Gabriel walks the girl to her apartment, the first thing he notices is that her house is very small. Julianne then makes tea for him. They talk a bit about her living conditions. That's where Gabriel knows the girl wanted to go to Harvard, but because of financial situations, she changes her plans. After that, he asks her if she can even manage a proper meal here. However, Gabriel realizes he is out of the line, hence he apologizes to her. Julianne sympathizes with him since his mother passed away. However, Gabriel leaves abruptly without saying a word to her. Hence, Julianne feels bad for bringing up his mom, but a knock at the door surprises her. Thus, she opens the door and Gabriel is there. He informs her that he is taking her to dinner. Julianne agrees to go, but on one condition. She asks him why she should join him after everything that happened between them. Surprisingly, he admits that his behavior wasn't right. Julianne notices that he genuinely feels guilty about his behavior. After a while, she comes back wearing a beautiful black dress, and after seeing her, Gabriel becomes attracted to her beauty. He takes the girl to a 5-star hotel, and there, he is surprised to see Julianne speaking perfect Italian. As Gabriel spends more time with her, he learns that Julianne is very ambitious, and she has so many qualities. He then asks her what made her fall in love with Dante. Julianne replies that her friend introduced her to this subject. It seems like she is hiding something from Gabriel. The next day, Rachel, Gabriel's sister, unexpectedly meets Julianne and she hugs her tightly. They look happy to each other. At that moment, Gabriel sees them together and he becomes confused, whereas Rachel invites Julianne to come to their home for a meal. She then informs her brother that Julianne has been her best friend since high school. Rachel then notices the tension between Gabriel and Julianne. Hence, she tells them to suck it up their problems, because she is here for a week and she wants to spend this time with them. After a while, they come to Gabriel's house and Julianne becomes amazed seeing the beautiful house. Surprisingly, Gabriel takes Julianne to his office and shows her an old copy of Dante from the 16th century. Julianne gets very happy about the fact that he decides to show her his most prized possession. After a while, they are in the kitchen and the topic of couscous comes up. She accidentally drops the wine glass and in the process, she cuts herself. Whereas, Gabriel is looking pissed at her sudden outburst. However, he takes the girl to the bathroom and treats her wounds. After that, Gabriel comes outside. Rachel tells him that he should know something about her, but Gabriel cuts her off and states that she is her student so he shouldn't know anything about her. However, Rachel scolds him to go easy on Julianne, since she is in a dark place, and after a long time, she finally comes out of her shell. So he should behave with her and not be arrogant with her. After a while, Gabriel reveals to Julianne that her sister's engagement broke last week, and she is here to get away from the loss of her mom's death. Suddenly, Gabriel tells Julianne that he is her professor, and he has a very bad temper. That's why she should be careful with him, since he doesn't want to hurt her. Gabriel's feelings for Julianne are growing, and it seems he is afraid of getting close to her since he feels he will destroy her. Let's go to the flashback. 6 years ago, young Julianne arrives at Rachel's home. Hence, she enters the house and becomes shocked to see everything inside is a mess and Rachel is crying. Julianne worriedly asks her about what happened. At this, Rachel reveals that it's all Gabriel's fault as he returns home and destroys everything. After that, Julianne notices Gabriel sitting alone outside. Hence, she goes there and sits beside him. Meanwhile, Gabriel is bruised and he seems in pain as he is drinking to avoid his sadness. He then notices Julianne and sees that she is cold, so he gives a blanket to her. Gabriel closely looks at Julianne and states that she smells like vanilla. He then opens up about himself and says that he feels like he is a demon and he is not a good son. However, Julianne reassures him that his family loves him dearly. After a while, Gabriel takes Julianne to his special place and holds her hand. He feels happy that he is the first boy who has held her hand. On their way, Gabriel reveals that he lost something and now it's gone forever. Gabriel takes her to a spot that is filled with apple trees. He then looks at the girl and feels that there is a strong resemblance between Beatrice and her. The boy feels like she is his Beatrice and his angel. After that, Gabriel plucks an apple and offers it to the girl. They then eat it in silence while Gabriel keeps looking her way. After some time, they lie beside each other and he tells the girl she is beautiful. Gabriel asks her if she has kissed anyone before. At this, Julianne shyly shakes her head. The boy sees his chance and kisses the girl. After that, they cuddle with each other. Gabriel states that he has to leave tomorrow, but he hopes that she will find him someday. Hence, Julianne promises him that she will find him no matter where he is. Gabriel then kisses her like his life is dependent on it. That was the last time they talked with each other. Back to the present, Gabriel gives Rachel his credit card and tells her to buy Julianne whatever she likes, especially a new bag. He thinks her old bag is too outdated, so she should change it. The next day, Paul takes Julianne to his study carrel that he shares with Gabriel. There he informs her that Gabriel asked the professors why they couldn't afford to give her the scholarship even though she scored the highest. However, Julianne thinks that Gabriel has only checked on her to confirm if she is telling the truth or not. Meanwhile, Paul tries to impress Julianne by giving her keys to the joint study carrel so that she can read here. At home, Julianne receives gifts from an unknown sender. It has beautiful black heels and an elegant purple dress. Julianne becomes surprised seeing the gifts. At that moment, Rachel calls her and informs her that she has sent her the gift. Rachel then tells her that she will take her to a club tonight, so she should get ready for it. Fast forward to the nighttime. Gabriel takes Julianne and Rachel to a club. They are sitting in a VIP lounge and Rachel notices that attraction between Gabriel and Julianne. Hence, she tries to get a reaction from her brother by asking Julianne about her day with Paul. Gabriel's ears perk up listening to this, whereas Julianne innocently replies that they had a good time together. Funnily, Gabriel becomes jealous hearing this. Rachel then takes Julianne to the dance floor. At the dance floor, Julianne slowly sways to the beats. Meanwhile, Gabriel is watching her every moment. After a while, a man comes up to Julianne and starts dancing with her. Seeing that, Gabriel becomes angry, so he comes there and takes Julianne back to the lounge. Julianne becomes surprised by his sudden outburst as she never expected him to behave like that when other men get close to her. Gabriel then takes the drink and feeds it to her. Hence, he looks intensely at her eyes while she sips the drink. After that, he tells the girl that she is too naive for these places, and she doesn't have to pretend like she is bold when she isn't. At this, Julianne gets offended and leaves from there. Meanwhile, Gabriel laughs at her as he finds her adorable, whereas Julianne bumps into the club's bouncer. The man asks her to help him in conversing with her girlfriend in Italian since he doesn't know it. Thus, she helps him. But to their bad luck, Gabriel sees them and he misunderstands their conversation and thinks she gives the man her number. After the man goes from there, Gabriel pins Julianne to the wall and angrily asks her why she gives the man her number when he already has a girlfriend. Hence, Julianne gets hurt by his actions, but she clarifies that she didn't give the man her number, she was just helping him. Surprisingly, Gabriel asks her to dance with him, but Julianne refuses to dance with him, as she is too angry with him. Gabriel then notices he is hurting her, so he leaves her. After that, he again politely asks her to dance with him and offers her his hand. Seeing his softer side, Julianne takes his hand. They then go to the dance floor and start dancing. Gabriel tells her that he doesn't want to be professional with her today, because he just wants to dance with the most beautiful girl. However, Julianne doesn't believe him. Hence, he gently lifts her chin and states that this feeling is familiar to him, like he has met her before. Gabriel may have forgotten about her, but his heart knows her as he calls her Beatrix. Surprisingly, the girl reveals that this is the first time she has danced with someone like this. At this, Gabriel tells her that he is glad to be her first. Hearing this, Julianne feels pain like someone is ripping her heart. The memories of them come in front of her, and she can't seem to handle this anymore. Hence, she leaves from there. After some time, Rachel comes to meet Julianne at her house. There, she gives Julianne the bag she bought for her. Rachel even informs the girl that Gabriel told her to buy a bag for her, but told her to keep this a secret. However, Julianne doesn't want to accept it since it's too expensive. Surprisingly, Rachel reveals that Gabriel is very rich, and it appears Rachel's parents adopted Gabriel when he was 9. His mother passed away when he was young, and recently, his biological father also passed away. He left Gabriel a huge inheritance, and that's one of the reasons Gabriel hates himself, because he thinks he can never be enough for anyone. They both then talk about the mysterious incident, which is the reason Julianne's heart is broken. The next day, Paul takes Julianne for some coffee. There, they talk a bit, and out of nowhere, Julianne kisses Paul. At that moment, Krista comes there and states that Gabriel is taking her somewhere nice after they discuss her thesis program. To her bad luck, Gabriel comes there and scolds her for telling the lie. After that, they go to another table to discuss the thesis. Meanwhile, Julianne is feeling guilty for kissing Paul, hence she apologizes for her actions. However, Paul states that he will wait for her until she gets ready. From afar, Gabriel is watching them sitting close together. The next day, Julianne finds out that she is awarded $5,000 from Mem Pamerson bursary per semester. After some time, Gabriel goes to his study Carol and sees that Julianne is sleeping on the chair. Julianne then wakes up, and after seeing him, she panics and hurriedly gathers her things. But because of her sudden movements, she feels lightheaded. Luckily, Gabriel holds her until she feels fine. After that, he notices a stuffed animal in her bag. However, he becomes angry when the girl informs him that it's from Paul. Surprisingly, Gabriel holds back his anger and politely asks her to come with him for dinner. Julianne happily agrees to it. After a while, they are in a hotel, and Gabriel notices that she feels cold, so he takes off his sweater and gives it to the girl to wear it. After that, Julianne gives him the MP letter and states that she can't accept this. Also, he doesn't have to impress her with his. Gabriel tells Julianne that he doesn't need to impress her, because she isn't the type of girl who can be bought. It appears Gabriel is feeling frustrated by her professional behavior towards her. Hence, he tells the girl that for this evening, they can be just Gabriel and Julianne. He further tells her to accept this letter since she gets this because of her achievement. Finally, Julianne agrees to accept it. Gabriel then gets a call from a girl, so he goes to talk. After a while, he hurriedly comes back and states that he has to go, but he will meet her on Wednesday. After some time, Julianne walks past the same club where she went with Rachel and Gabriel. When Ethan sees her, he stops her and tells her that he needs her help to manage Gabriel since he is drunk. Hence, Julianne gets worried for him. After entering the club, she sees Gabriel sitting with Krista. She notices that Gabriel is very drunk, so makes a plan. Ethan then calls a waitress and tells her to do something. Hence, the waitress goes to Krista and slips the drinks on her. Krista goes to clean her clothes. Meanwhile, Julianne goes to Gabriel and tells him that she needs his help to get a taxi. After some time, Julianne takes Gabriel to his apartment. Inside the apartment, Gabriel flirts with Julianne and they end up kissing. After that, Julianne takes him to the bathroom, where he starts vomiting. The dude even vomited on her clothes. That's why Julianne goes to the other bathroom and wears his clothes. After that, she goes to Gabriel and helps him in changing his shirt. Julianne notices a tattoo on his chest, and the name Maya is written on it. She then notices that his bedroom walls are filled with pictures of a girl with a boy. However, Julianne ignores it and puts Gabriel on the bed. Julianne confesses her love to him after he sleeps. Suddenly, she hears a ring, so picks up a call, and it appears. A girl has called Gabriel. Hearing her voice, Julianne gets hurt. Suddenly, Gabriel holds her hand and calls her Beatrix. Hearing this, Julienne becomes happy as she feels that he finally remembers her. After that, they sleep while cuddling. Later in the morning, Julienne takes the clothes from the washing machine and she feels happy, so she prepares breakfast for him. Further, Julienne writes a note to him and puts it on the table. On the other hand, Gabriel wakes up and he gets angry seeing Julienne there. At that moment, Julienne realizes that he doesn't remember anything from last night, so she becomes hurt and angry. She then changes her clothes, whereas Gabriel tries to talk to her, but she is too angry at him, so she leaves the house. Gabriel also comes after her and asks her why she writes her name like this in the note. At this, she tells him that he was the one who begged her to look for him. Finally, Gabriel realizes who she is, but sadly, it's too late for him.